It makes people so angry when you cannot wait for your turn in line. In clinic one day in the village of Somoduha, I was busy seeing many patients. I wondered how I would see all of them. There were so many packed there waiting to see me. Now, in the doctor's office in America, people wait quietly their turn in their chair in the waiting room. They have an appointment. But this mobile clinic has different set of rules. The first people who come will be the first ones who are served, and I expect them to wait there quietly in the order that they should be seen, unless I see someone in the line who has a greater need than those at the front of the line. It is explained to them that if they're very, very sick, the doctor will treat the sickest ones first, and they cannot get angry over that. But it's impossible to keep a good check on that when I'm inside and new ones keep coming to the line. There was a message by cell phone to my translator that there was a lady waiting in the church, lying down, very sick. She was a church member, and she was wanting to be seen right away. I had become annoyed by all the people who pushed their way saying me first, just so they could have a pair of glasses, even when their vision screen showed they needed nothing. So I wasn't careful to check this patient ahead of time when she was urgently calling. I was just working as fast as I could. Suddenly the side door burst open and she came in the wrong door. In my heart I was upset. I didn't want her in there. She came in the wrong door. Everyone else would be angry. And she sat down like a rich lady, and I couldn't see anything obviously wrong with her, except that she looked like she was so full of pride, and she was sitting there. And the translator told me this was the one that was waiting in the back lying down on a church pew. I was feeling very angry, and the Lord whispered in my ear, remember the man who opened up the ceiling and came down right in the building where Jesus was preaching? He must have, as the roof was being pulled apart, the little chunks must have come down and landed in the hair of Jesus. He must have been annoyed it seems that he should have been annoyed with all the disruption right when he's trying to make a point in his teaching. But down came this man that Jesus was calling. He could see the unseen. He can read the thoughts. He knows what people say in secret. And down came this man that was frantic to have his sins forgiven. His friends felt that his great need was his palsy, but in his own heart secretly he was longing for Jesus to forgive his sins more than even to be healed. As I was pressed by the Lord to think of that story, this lady was sitting before me, and Jenny nudged me and said, "Don't be quick to anger." So I took the stethoscope, I listened to the lady's lungs, and I could hear she was having so much trouble. There wasn't hardly any air exchange in her lungs. So I called for therapy, and she was immediately treated with the therapy of eucalyptus. And I prayed for her. Immediate was her relief. And the next day she told me how happy she was for the healing. Her gratitude was revealed in gifts and in a desire to assist us to the airport. And also there was a group which came in the night to sing to us a goodbye, a farewell, and to give us courage to go on in our work. We don't know what God is doing as we're moving forward in faith for Him. We think that our time is too limited, our money's too limited, and there's an impossible mountain in our path where we cannot do the service that is demanded of us. But if we move forward calmly in faith, the very things in our hands will be multiplied. As in the story of Elisha, when 100 people needed to be fed, he told them, just feed them. They only had a little amount of food, but they had the food multiply in their hands as Elisha prayed. And 100 people were fed with a small amount of food. People forget this all over the world. They want to charge me for the little bit that Jenny and I eat when we come to their home. They forget all about hospitality. They would normally feed each other if they came for a visit. Their hospitality is totally forgotten, and they get excited, wanting a lot of money for serving us. But those who reach out, like the widow in Kindu of Democratic Republic of Congo, she brought her rice, and God took that rice, blessed it, and she had enough to feed her family. The best way God can bless people is if they move forward in faith with the amount of time they have, with the amount of money they have, and then in their hands it is multiplied, the thing that they need to do that service. God has promised us in His Word that He will reward and He will direct our path. In Proverbs 3 verse 5 and 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding." I wasn't to lean to my understanding that she had to stay in line. I was to move forward in faith and work for this lady, trusting that God would provide. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord. In all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct thy paths. He directs my path when there is a crisis. He whispers in my ear a Bible story that I know that will instruct me in how I should act. In the story of Elisha feeding the 100 people, there were even leftovers. There is time enough to do all that we need to do if we set about to do the work of the Lord. This lesson is for God's children in every age. When the Lord gives the work to be done, let not men stop to inquire the reasonableness of the command or the probable result of your effort to obey. The supply in your hands of time or money or food may seem to fall short of the need that is to be fulfilled, but in the hands of the Lord it will prove more than sufficient. This is the lesson God has taught me over and over and over since He called me in 1992. I thought, there's no way I can do that work. How can I? Don't have money. If you take me away from my work as a doctor, earning money, and send me as a doctor by faith, where will the money come from? Where will the time come from to raise my children and teach them? But we must move forward in faith. We must have a sense of God's relationship to those He has purchased with the gift of His Son. It's not just our own family we're to take care of. We have to have a greater faith in the onward progress of the cause of God in the earth. This is the great need of our church today. This is my great need. We cannot waste time in saying, we don't have enough resources, I will wait. The outward appearance may be unpromising, but energy, even the energy, will be multiplied to us 100 times. And the trust in God that we have will develop the resources that are needed. He enjoys multiplying our resources. The gift brought to Him with thanksgiving and with prayer for His blessings will multiply as He multiplied the food given to the sons of the prophets and to the weary multitude. He multiplied my resources. The fire burned up all my resources, even my projector, my laptop, my camera, all my pictures, my graphics. There was great sadness in my heart, but the Lord was using this fire to purify the family, and He brought into my life more resources, As by faith I moved forward, knowing that the hand of God had allowed this to happen, and the hand of God would provide. In just a few short days, I had the 100-fold blessing, 100 times over, more than 100 times. He kept blessing me. Furniture, a house. He gave the money for the tickets to go on that journey. He gave a car. He gave clothing, laptop, projector, all the items that were necessary. And there was enough for my family to be comfortable. The 100-fold blessing is on us when we allow God to lead us in all our ways, acknowledge Him, and He directs our path.